March 15, 1995. Kensington Palace. 2:14 a.m. Princess Diana jolted awake to the sound of her bedroom window being tapped. For the third night this week, someone was outside her private quarters, watching her sleep. But this wasn't just any obsessed fan or paparazzi photographer. This was someone who knew her daily routine, her private schedule, her deepest secrets. Someone who had been sending her letters for 2 years containing information that only people inside the palace walls could know. As Diana peered through the curtains, she saw a shadowy figure standing in her garden, holding up a photograph. When she looked closer, her blood ran cold. It was a picture of her with Dodi Al-Fayed, taken 3 months before they had even met publicly. This man didn't just know too much about Diana's present. He knew about her future, and he was about to reveal why. The letters begin. January 1993, the first warning. The first letter arrived on a Tuesday morning, mixed in with Diana's regular correspondence. Her private secretary Paul Burrell brought it to her attention because of its unusual nature. It had no return address, but it was postmarked from inside London and contained details about Diana's private life that should have been impossible for an outsider to know. Dear Princess Diana, I know you think you're safe behind palace walls, but you're not. I've been watching you for months, and I know things about your life that would shock you. I know about your 3 a.m. phone calls to Oliver Hoare. I know about your secret visits to the gym at 6 a.m. every Tuesday. I know about the eating disorder you're hiding from your sons. But more importantly, I know about the plans being made against you. Plans you don't even know about yet. I'm not your enemy, Princess. I'm trying to protect you. A concerned friend. Diana's hands trembled as she read it. How could a stranger know about her phone calls to Oliver Hoare? How could they know about her private gym schedule or her ongoing struggles with bulimia? Paul, she called to Burrell. Has anyone new been hired in the household staff recently? Anyone with access to my private schedule? No, Your Royal Highness, the same staff members who've been with you for years. Diana felt a chill run down her spine. If this information wasn't coming from inside her household, where was it coming from? But the letters were just the beginning. The surveillance. February 1993. He's always watching. The second letter arrived 3 weeks later, and this time it contained something that made Diana's blood run cold. Photographs. Dear Princess, you didn't believe my first letter, did you? You thought I was just another crazy fan. These photographs should convince you otherwise. Enclosed, you leaving Dr. Maurice Lipsedge's office last Tuesday. Your psychiatrist's name isn't public knowledge. You meeting with your divorce lawyer Anthony Julius in secret last month. You crying in your car outside Highgrove after your argument with Charles. I told you I was watching. I told you I knew everything. But here's what you need to understand. I'm not the only one watching you. There are others. Others with much more dangerous intentions. The man following you in the blue Ford on Thursday wasn't a journalist. He works for people who want to silence you permanently. Be careful, Princess. Trust no one inside the palace. Not even Paul Burrell, your guardian. Diana studied the photographs with growing horror. They were taken from positions that would require extensive surveillance equipment and professional training. This wasn't an amateur stalker. This was someone with resources, connections, and most terrifyingly, someone who seemed to know about threats against her that she didn't even know existed. She called her head of security immediately. Inspector Worf, I need you to sweep my quarters for listening devices. Someone is monitoring my every move. But what Diana discovered next would change everything. The inside source. March 1993. The palace betrayal. The third letter contained information that confirmed Diana's worst fears. Dear Princess, by now you've had your rooms swept for bugs. You found 3 listening devices, didn't you? 1 in your bedroom telephone, 1 in your private sitting room, and 1 in your car. You're wondering who placed them there. I'll tell you. They were installed by palace security themselves, on orders from the Queen's private secretary. They've been listening to your private conversations for 2 years, every phone call, every private meeting, every moment you thought you were alone. But here's what they don't know. I've been listening to them too. Attached you'll find transcripts of conversations between your security detail and their supervisors. Read them carefully. You'll understand why I'm the only person you can trust. The man in the blue Ford isn't working alone. There's a plan in motion, Princess. A plan to discredit you, isolate you, and if necessary, eliminate you. Your life is in danger, and I'm the only one warning you, your guardian. The transcripts were devastating. Subject continues to be uncooperative regarding Camilla's situation. Recommend increased surveillance of all communications. If Diana continues public statements, more drastic measures may be necessary. Understood. Standing by for further instructions. Diana realized she wasn't just being stalked by a mysterious individual. She was being monitored by her own security team on orders from the highest levels of the royal family. But the most shocking revelation was yet to come. The face-to-face meeting. March 15, 1995, 2:30 a.m. Kensington Palace Gardens. After 2 years of letters and photographs, Diana finally decided to confront her mysterious guardian. She had arranged to meet him in the private gardens of Kensington Palace, away from any possible surveillance. The man who emerged from the shadows was not what she expected. He was in his 40s, well-dressed, with the bearing of a former military officer. Most surprisingly, he seemed familiar. "Princess Diana," he said quietly. "My name is James Hewitt." Not the James Hewitt she had known. This was someone else, someone who shared a name with her former lover, but was clearly a different person. "I'm sorry for the confusion the name might cause," he continued. "I'm former MI5. I've been assigned to monitor threats against the royal family for the past decade. You've been stalking me for 2 years. I've been protecting you for 2 years. Everything I told you in those letters was true. There is a plan to eliminate you if you become too much of a threat to the monarchy's stability." Diana stared at him. "You're MI5. Then why are you warning me instead of following orders?" James looked uncomfortable. "Because I've seen what they did to other people who became inconvenient to the crown. I have a daughter your age. I couldn't stand by and watch them destroy you." "What people? Who else have they eliminated?" James hesitated, then pulled out a file. "Captain James Hewitt, your former companion, didn't leave England voluntarily. He was relocated under threat. Barry Manicky, your former bodyguard, his motorcycle accident wasn't an accident. Dr. James Colthurst, who helped you with the Morton book, he's been under constant surveillance since 1992. But James had one more devastating revelation, the future prediction. March 15, 1995, 3 a.m. The prophecy. "Princess," James said quietly, "there's something else you need to know. The surveillance isn't just about your current activities, they're planning your future." "What do you mean?" James pulled out another file. "They know about relationships you haven't even begun yet. They've been monitoring potential romantic partners for you, including someone named Dodi Al-Fayed." Diana was shocked. "I don't know anyone named Dodi Al-Fayed." "You will. In approximately 2 years, Mohammed Al-Fayed, Dodi's father, is being encouraged to introduce his son to you. It's part of a plan." "What kind of plan?" "A plan to give you a romantic relationship that can be easily controlled and easily ended if necessary. Dodi Al-Fayed is under MI6 surveillance. If you become involved with him, they'll have complete monitoring of your relationship." Diana felt the world spinning. "They're planning my romantic life? More than that, they're planning your endgame. If the Dodi relationship doesn't succeed in discrediting you publicly, if you continue to be a threat to Prince Charles's reputation or the monarchy's stability." James didn't finish the sentence, but Diana understood. "They're planning to kill me. And I believe they're planning to make it look like an accident during your relationship with Dodi. Something dramatic, public, that will generate sympathy, but also silence you permanently." You won't believe what James revealed about the specific plan. The Paris Prophecy. March 15, 1995, 3:15 a.m. The detailed plot. James opened a final file that made Diana's blood freeze. "This is a preliminary operational plan," he said. "It's dated February 1995, just last month." Diana read the document in horror. Operation. Diana Final Solution. Target HRH Princess of Wales. Timeline 1997. Time 8. Location Paris, France. Preferred. Method. Vehicular accident during romantic engagement. Cover. Paparazzi pursuit narrative. Assets. Henri Paul. Recruited. Al-Fayed security. Compromised. Outcome. Public sympathy. Diana silenced. Charles free to remarry. "This is a plan to murder me," Diana whispered. "This is a plan they hope they'll never have to use," James corrected. "But it exists, and if you continue to be seen as a threat to the monarchy, they will activate it." Diana looked at the date again. "This was written last month, 2 years before it's supposed to happen. They plan everything years in advance, Princess. Your meeting with Dodi isn't a coincidence that will happen naturally. It's an orchestrated introduction that will lead to an orchestrated relationship that may lead to an orchestrated death. How do I stop it?" James was quiet for a long moment. "You can't stop it by running. You can't stop it by hiding. The only way to stop it is to expose it before it happens. But if I expose this, they'll just change the plan, or they'll accelerate it." Diana realized she was trapped. If she stayed silent, she might die in 2 years. If she spoke out, she might die sooner. But James had one final piece of information that would give her hope: the insurance policy. March 15th, 1995, 3:30 a.m., the evidence vault. "Princess," James said, "I haven't just been warning you for 2 years. I've been collecting evidence." He handed her a key. "Safety deposit box 24/7 at Cott's Bank. Inside you'll find copies of every surveillance report, every operational plan, every conversation I've recorded about threats against you. Why are you giving this to me? Because if something happens to me, I want you to have the evidence, and if something happens to you, I want the truth to come out eventually." Diana took the key. "What am I supposed to do with this?" "Use it as insurance. Let them know you have it. Let them know that if anything happens to you, the evidence will be released automatically. Will that protect me?" "It might, or it might make you an even bigger target, but at least you'll have the truth on your side." Diana looked at the key in her hand. It was small, simple, but it represented the difference between life and death. "James, if this evidence is so dangerous, why haven't you released it yourself? I'm just a former MI5 agent with a crazy story. You're the Princess of Wales. People will believe you." That was the last time Diana ever saw James Hewitt. 2 weeks later, he was found dead in his apartment. Official cause: heart attack. He was 43 years old with no history of heart problems. The final letter: March 30th, 1995. The last warning. 3 days after James's death, Diana received one final letter. "Dear Princess Diana, by the time you read this, I'll be dead. They discovered I was helping you. But my death should prove to you that everything I told you was true. They will eliminate anyone who threatens their plans. The evidence is still in the safety deposit box. Use it wisely. Trust no one inside the palace, not your security, not your staff, not your family. When the time comes, and you'll know when it comes, remember what I told you about Paris. Remember about Dodi. Remember about the plan. You have 2 choices: submit to their control and live as a prisoner, or fight for your freedom and risk everything. Your mother would want you to fight. Good luck, Princess. I'm sorry I couldn't protect you better. James Hewitt, the one who tried to save you." Diana kept this letter for the rest of her life. It was found in her personal effects after her death in Paris on August 31st, 1997, exactly as James had predicted. The truth revealed. August 31st, 1997, Paris, France. When Diana died in the Alma Tunnel in Paris, those who knew about James Hewitt's warnings recognized the eerie accuracy of his predictions. "You have duayed Hewitt Al-Fayed, exactly as predicted. The location was Paris, exactly as planned. The method was a vehicular accident, exactly as outlined. Henri Paul was the driver, exactly as specified in the operational plan. The safety deposit box at Coutts Bank was found empty. The evidence James had collected was gone, but James's letters to Diana were preserved, hidden in a secret compartment in her Kensington Palace desk. They were discovered in 2017, 20 years after her death, during renovation work. Those letters remain the only evidence that someone inside the intelligence services tried to warn Diana about the plot against her life. The question that haunts investigators to this day: was James Hewitt really a rogue MI5 agent trying to protect Diana, or was he part of an even more sophisticated psychological operation designed to make Diana feel paranoid and unstable? Did he genuinely try to save her, or was he the final piece of a plan to drive her to desperation? The truth may never be known. But one thing is certain: someone was watching Diana very closely for years before her death. Someone knew details about her life that should have been impossible to know, and someone accurately predicted the circumstances of her death 2 years before it happened. Whether James Hewitt was her guardian angel or her tormentor, his letters stand as the most chilling prophecy in royal history. Sometimes the people trying to save you are the most dangerous of all. The truth: Diana's stalker wasn't just watching her. He was trying to save her from a plot he claimed to know about in advance. His letters, photographs, and warnings painted a picture of a woman under total surveillance by the very people meant to protect her. Most disturbingly, his predictions about her death proved accurate in every detail. The question remains: was he a guardian angel warning her of real danger, or the most sophisticated stalker in history, one whose psychological manipulation helped drive Diana toward the very fate he claimed to be protecting her from? Some protectors are more dangerous than the threats they warn you about.